You are watching Shaw Arts and Entertainment. As always, I'm your host, Curtis Anderson. We're in the studio today. Now, it was just late last week that High Impact Wrestling brought to Saskatoon one of the legends from the glory days of the World Wrestling Federation, or World Wrestling Entertainment, the WWE like it's called today. It was kind of 98, 99, and there was a wrestler called Gangrel. Now, Gangrel was known mostly as a manager. He actually managed the Hardy Boys, and he managed Edge and Christian. But you will remember Gangrel as the guy that had kind of the vampire gimmick. He had the puffy pirate shirt, and he had the fangs. He was once married to Luna Vachon. He stuck around for a while. He made an impact. Gangrel was a big fan of the Lost Boys. I was so lucky to get an interview with Gangrel right here in the Shaw TV studios. Let's go back in time and talk to Gangrel. First of all, sir, huge honor. Grew up watching you on TV.
Cool,
big fan of wrestling back then. Big fan of wrestling now. First things first, when did you get to Saskatoon?
Last night about midnight. Well, I got in about 11:30, but the time I got out of customs it was about 12:30. Immigration.
Have you had a chance to look at the city at all? Done any touring at all?
No, not at all. Pretty tired. My eyes are closed. I'm being a vampire daytime, you know.
You're using my jokes already. You're up pretty early for a vampire. Which came first, the fangs or the wrestling career?
The wrestling career. I started out in Calgary, Alberta, in Stampede Wrestling as a black heart, you know, illegitimate sons of Stu Hart. We were like bastard kids coming to take the Hart dynasty back over because Stu went around with some ring, groupies, and there we were. But that was my first territory I ever worked, so I was a wrestler before a vampire.
Okay, and then what brought that transition?
When I was switching out, I had a big fights with my partner. We fell out, and I was watching the Lost Boys with Luna one day, Luna Vachon.
Yeah.
And I go, that'd be really cool to be a vampire. And she goes, it'll work. I go, no, you can't be a vampire in wrestling. She goes, it'll work. And then, so we tried it for years and years. I went to Puerto Rico with it as a vampire warrior, and they just kept making it a monster deal, a big monster thing. And then I kept telling them, no, I wanted to be like the Lost Boys, really cool group of vampires. And I'm sorry I spit a lot with the fangs. So if you're like, want to put some windshield wipers on there, so glad I'll give you my glasses if you want to get blinded. But yeah, so I kept trying to make it work. I ended up going to Memphis in '93 as a vampire warrior. Lawler wanted a monster thing too, but finally in '98, Bruce Pritchard, Vince Russo, and them, I finally convinced them. Showing them the Lost Boys 100 times, the Masquerade, all the different things, showing them vampires can be a really cool group of guys that get their ass kicked, and then they come back because it doesn't matter if they win or lose as long as they're cool doing it. And it's a cult thing, and then they finally bought into it and did the whole Gangrel thing and then the Brood thing.
For the viewers at home, though, those are real, right? That's not like a Halloween prop.
Yeah. No, I got to be honest. They were real at one point, but then when I went out with the broken neck and I was out for the year, I ended up getting them fixed because, I had kids and everything. So when I would go to school, when I got in trouble, I'd walk in and they go, oh, we see the problem. I go, what do you mean you see the problem? They go, yeah, fangs, dude.
Well, it must have been a little nervous when they were real because they couldn't have been cheap, and then you're getting hit in the face every night. So was that kind of to try to cover them a little bit?
You're still very expensive if they get knocked out. Yeah. No. I got quite used to it. A few, split the lips a few times, the fangs going through and whatnot. But no, it's all worked out, man. I'm, still fanging and banging, getting it done.
The year is like 1996, and everyone in the WWE is like a plumber or an evil dentist. Or a garbage man, and not even a hockey player. Or a hockey player. Let's not forget that guy. And then not even 2 years later, there's this guy on TV. There's a real, honest to God vampire. There's blood dropping from the ceiling. Just your entrance alone is legendary. Honestly, other than maybe Jericho, probably the best entrance in the history of the WWE. Personally,
Jericho, huh? You're a Jericho fan, are you?
I just like the. He came out.
Yeah, no, Jericho's very cool. He's a great wrestler, great entertainer. I love that guy.
But Gangrel rises up through fire with a chalice of blood, spits it, and then you can make blood fall from the ceiling too. That's pretty far stretch from watching a garbage man wrestle.
Well, they this whole thing when you used to rise up, they said you got to be a menacing vampire. They told me I had to be this mean guy. I go, okay. So I get down. I get down. It was an elevator that went down there. Yep. So as I'd rise up, I was trying to be like, put the meanest face I could. But then I'd get up the top of the flames. I'd hear the crowd, and I'd just go, I couldn't help but smile. I go, you're smiling again, damn it. What's wrong with you? I go, no, I'm not. I'm looking mean. And then every time I tried, they just finally said, you know what? We're going to go with that being a menacing smile. And they left the entrance alone, you know. They kept trying to change it because they didn't like the smile I had when I got to the top. But I couldn't help it. You got up, such cool music. I was like,
And you had the opportunity to work with some of the biggest names.
Yeah, it was awesome. The Attitude Era was a great era, and I was blessed to, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but I've gotten tax forms from WWF since 1987. I've been doing jobs, getting in and on. In and out of that company there. I never got an actual contract till 98 when they did the whole vampire thing. So I was blessed to work with so many different people throughout the years. And then being married to Luna Vachon was a, you know, big blessing too, you know. So, you know, she helped bring me and smarten me up to the evil ways of the Matrix here in wrestling and whatnot. But, you know, so I never seen it the same as everybody else. You know, I saw past the smoke and mirrors, and, you know,
That was kind of where I wanted to go next. I was telling one of my friends last night, I'm like, tomorrow morning, it's not a doll, it's an action figure, Gangrel. Come on, we're not playing with dolls here. I was telling a good friend of mine last night, I'm like, I'm pretty pumped. Tomorrow morning I get to interview Gangrel, and he kind of did the, Gangrel, what's that guy doing these days? And I was like, well, let's see. He's still alive. He's not in a wheelchair. He's not on Nancy Grace, so I think he's doing pretty darn good. Is that kind of the new level of success for wrestlers in the 90s?
Yeah, you make it past the age of 40. You're doing great.
Really? Well,
yeah, you know,
you escaped with your health. Everything's good.
You know, to be honest, I didn't think I'd see 30, 35. But before I even got to WWE, I didn't think I'd still be alive. It was a crazy lifestyle. I broke my neck twice, torn pecs, clavicles. I've had no surgeries, though, you know, and I just keep moving on. I just keep fanging and banging, and I don't know why I'm blessed and what I do, but I have slowed down. I don't, you know, I do choose to go to my coffin or my bed at night, you know what I mean? Instead of staying out all night and trying to rock the free world, you know, like Neil Young getting out there. But you know, I take it a lot more easier, and, you know, I think losing so many friends, you know, it's a wake-up call too. At the same point, you know, you go, damn, man, I can't. You know, this should have been me. You know, I partied way harder than this guy, partied way harder than them. You know, I was married to her for 18 years. I'm like, damn, you know. But I don't know why I'm still here. I'm blessed, and I'm making the best of it. So I guess if you want to say it's a success to be alive at this age, and yeah, keep on rocking.